Hello, welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. I'm Mr. Flores. I'll be teaching 6th grade innovation to your student this year. This is an elective course. We'll be focusing mainly on 3D design over this distance learning platform. Normally we do incorporate 3D design for a good period of time, but we also typically do other projects and activities to really facilitate that creative thinking. Over the distance learning platform, whether it's a matter of access to materials and equity or just isn't really conducive to some of the group projects that we do, there is going to be a greater emphasis on 3D design. Now with the meeting of only twice a week and the fact that if you master 3D design, this is something you can pursue as a career if you're really into it. That's not necessarily a bad thing that we're going to be focusing on 3D design this semester. Moreover, once students go on to Mr. Drew in the second semester for coding, between the two classes, they're going to learn how to 3D design and code, two skills that if they enjoy, they can pursue as they get older, and they could really make lucrative careers out of that. So really good introduction to some really good 21st century skills. So just a few things. It is important for students to be on time. I do open the Zoom meeting at least 5 minutes before each class. Being tardy does affect the person that's late because they might miss something. It also affects the rest of the class if I have to go back and keep admitting students who are tardy. Even when students are on time and I had to take roll the old-fashioned way, you could just see the come on now, boredom on their faces. So we want to make sure we keep things moving and that students remain engaged. Just be on time. Now we do need that waiting room. It does provide a layer of protection. As some of you may know, there were issues with Zoom bombings in the district, even some cases at Clifton. There are inappropriate behaviors associated with these Zoom bombings. So we definitely want that level of protection to make sure that no one gets into the class and does something that will cause us to have to quit the Zoom session for that day. In fact, I'm pretty sure I was able to thwart a potential Zoom bomber because I saw that it was a name I didn't recognize in the waiting room for one class, and I was able to not let them in. If you ever cannot attend the class for any reason, whether it's a planned vacation or you're feeling sick or you're having technical difficulties with the device or connectivity issues, shoot your teacher an email and they'll tell you, hey, don't worry about it, just check Google Classroom or make sure you do this. Hey, show up to the office hours. So it's good practice to make sure that you're up to date and keep those lines of communication open. If you are having issues logging on to Zoom on a particular day, try logging in with a different device. It may not be the actual internet. It could be just something's wrong with the computer. That's really for any class. For this class, it is optimal to be on a computer or Chromebook. I know you can access Tinkercad, which is the website we'll be using for the 3D design, on an iPad. I've never tried an iPad, so I'm not quite sure how it would work. You could always try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just wait till everything's fixed and you can get caught up. And all assignments we post in Google Classroom. For the Tinkercad, there are lessons that teach students how to use the software. And I do post what lessons need to be due by when. I number them as well. Due dates are there so students can always remain up to date. A big thing for the Zoom is if students have questions, I could always share my screen and answer those questions. Now, if there's a lot of questions, students do have to wait their turn, but for the most part, things have been going pretty fluid so far. It is students' responsibility to make up work resulting from an absence. So whether it's checking Google Classroom or reaching out to me or checking Google Classroom and there is something they don't get, they can shoot me an email or they can show up to office hours. Okay. While we are in our scheduled meeting times and have our Zoom meetings, it is optimal for students to have their cameras on. That's one of the main reasons why they do want us to have synchronous learning, not just accountability for everyone, but also for that cognitive development to have those social interactions with their peers and their teachers and be able to see emotions on the face and things like that that are associated with cognitive priming. As I previously alluded to, during distance learning, all assignments will be posted in Google Classroom. So whether it's because of an absence, you got to see what we were doing, or hey, when did these modules due, these lessons? Or did we have anything I needed to work on for Flores? Just check the Google Classroom, and if you have any questions from there, again, go ahead and shoot me an email. Keep those lines of communication open. It is important for students to complete and submit assignments on time. As of the recording of this, I don't see any issues with that really in this class, although I haven't gone through with a fine-tooth comb yet. But, it is good practice as students, progress into the later years, high school, there's, teachers are more stringent upon that. And as students get to college, I still haven't heard any examples of a professor allowing students to turn their assignments in whenever they want. And as many of you know, when the boss tells you to get something done by a certain time, got to do it. So it is good practice and, a good learning experience to, at this age, start turning things in on time. Here are those Clifton office hours that I mentioned earlier. This is a school-wide schedule. So you guys are period 5, so office hours for innovation are Thursday at 1:15 to 2. So, whether you want to shoot me an email beforehand and give me a heads up to make sure I can answer the question you have, or you can just drop by if you're working on something. Either way is fine. Feel free to drop by. I mean, your teachers do have to sit in front of their computer with their camera on during these office hours, so we do welcome visitors. Here is the grading scale. Pretty standard. Hopefully we don't have to reference the the bottom of this grade, but things happen. So pretty standard. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, shoot me an email. There's my email. It's also on the syllabus, which was posted last Friday, or excuse me, earlier in the week. Go ahead and shoot me an email if you have any questions. Looking forward to definitely an interesting school year. Definitely going to try to make the most out of it, and students do have an opportunity to learn a skill that if they like it, they could definitely pursue as a career and make a good life for themselves. So, keep those lines of communication open, and looking forward to a great school year.